Nigeria recently announced plans to stop fish importation. According to the Minister of Agriculture, it's time for Nigeria to look inward to tap into the huge potential in fisheries and agriculture for local consumption and export. Now, stockfish is a highly demanded species consumed mainly in certain parts of Nigeria, particularly the southeast. It has been a subject of import restrictions. In one instance, the import into Nigeria was banned with a fierce political backlash. Well, let's get an insight into this commodity with Aisat Dahoud, one of the research analysts with Financial Derivatives Company. He joins us. She joins us here in the studio. Hello, Aisat.
Hi, Chirezi.
Well, are you one of those addicted to eating stockfish? Why? I mean, what makes the demand of this fish so inelastic?
So, stockfish, popularly called oporoko. Did I pronounce that well? Popularly called panla in the southwest, oporoko in the southeast. It's distinct for its taste. It's a rare fish that we don't grow here in Nigeria. We import stockfish all the way from Norway. It grows in the Atlantic Ocean, this freshwater, fresh sea waters. That's where it grows. So this fish has come to be to stay in the cultural side of Africa, especially in Southeast. So Nigeria, on a normal day, we have this gap between the demand for fish and what we supply to the market. We supply about 1.1 million tons of fishery products produced to the Nigerian market, and we export just like 10% of it. However, in Nigeria, the demand for fishery produce or product is almost 3 million tons. So the gap is so wide that we depend majorly on importation of fishery.
So what can be done? Yeah, how can we begin to produce this, locally?
So stockfish has remained relatively inelastic because the taste is distinct. It has come to stay. There's no major substitute. There's no major competition. And, the change between the price doesn't really affect the change between the quantity demanded. So what we can just do is just to find a way to minimize it, the demand for stockfish, because it's so large and it's really going to take a huge drop on our importation cost.
All right. Now, a lot of people are so concerned about their health, and a lot of people are really not sure how healthy it is to eat the stockfish, particularly the dry one. Are there any major health hazards associated with this particular commodity?
Most of every item has its benefit and also side effect. Every fish has its distinct taste. So everything should be consumed in modality. Should be moderate. Stockfish has a lot of benefits. It's very high in protein. It has omega-3 fatty acid. However, it's low in cholesterol. And it also has a lot of minerals and vitamins. But if you consume this stockfish too much, the mercury content, every fish has mercury content because fish consume a lot of things in the habitats and, they store it in and then it comes into our body. So we need to moderate the way we consume it so we won't get a lot of toxins from eating too much of stockfish.
All right, we've seen the retail price of stockfish, continuing to rise, and of course is even expected to rise further, particularly if there's any currency adjustment. Do you think it is a smart idea perhaps for Nigerian entities to invest in the shares of Norwegian export companies?
So frankly speaking, stockfish is, the price volatility is not so much. However, it doesn't really affect the demand. There could be a large increase in the price, but there will just be a slight decrease in the demand for stockfish. So in order for us to hedge against currency adjustment, that is where there's a depreciation or devaluation in the naira, the volatility in the prices. A smart way we can do is to actually invest. Like the way the big companies in the developed nations, the way they come here to Nigeria to invest, it's something Nigerian investors, Nigerian entities should start looking at. Buy some shares in these exporting companies in Norway. They're exported outside. When they make profits, we also make profit. You'll be able to import into Nigeria at a subsidized rate. Thereby, the cost of importing stockfish wouldn't be as much as that and won't be eating up on our foreign exchange activities. So this is some way for investors to explore and start making new innovations on meeting our gap in fish demand in Nigeria.
All right, let's hope to see the feasibility of what you have just
There's a huge return. There's money to be made from, exploring these investment options, buying shares in exporting companies in Norway. There's real return from there. The numbers are telling us.
All right, we'll see. Thank you, Isat.
Thank you for having me.
Isat Dehud is one of the research analysts with Financial Derivatives Company. Burundi's central bank has suspended the licenses of all foreign exchange bureaus in the Central African nation, saying the move was aimed at weeding out those flouting official exchange rates. Burundi has experienced a shortage of foreign exchange since 2015 after a political crisis that started when President Pierre Nkurunziza announced in April that year that he would seek a third term in office. The European Union suspended financial support to Burundi in 2016, saying Nkurunziza had not done enough to resolve the political and economic crisis. Burundi's central bank says it is withdrawing licenses for foreign exchange bureaus for violating rules that allow them to trade currency within an 18% margin of the official rate of 185 Burundi francs per dollar. The bank said commercial banks would, however, be allowed to continue exchanging currencies. And Ghana is seeking to prosecute a former finance minister, industry regulator, and deputy central bank governor in a bid to stamp out alleged collusion with company executives that helped contribute to the West African nation's biggest banking crisis. The former officials are being charged along with 9 other banking executives on charges ranging from money laundering to defrauding depositors in the aftermath of a 3-year industry cleanup, the costs of which could escalate to 20 billion cedis. The indictments follow an industry overhaul that resulted in a third of the nation's banks being shut down. The charges, filed last week in the High Court in the capital Accra, highlight the allegations of poor corporate governance, related party transactions, and weak oversight that Bank of Ghana Governor Ernest Addison has vowed to prevent since taking office in 2017. And delays to the completion of Africa's largest wind farm at Kenya's Lake Turkana have led to Google's plans to buy a 12.5% stake to be cancelled. The 310-megawatt facility at Lake Turkana in Kenya was initially set for completion in 2017, after which Google had committed to buy the stake. Instead, it only became operational last year. Vestas Wind Systems is now shopping for a new buyer for its 12.5% stake in the project. The wind farm is intended to reduce energy costs and move Kenya closer to its ambitious goal of 100% green energy by the end of next year. And the U.S. Trade and Development Agency says Nigeria will get a grant of more than $1 million for technical and financial work on a power plant project in the capital, Abuja. The money, which will be given by the U.S. government, will go towards the 1,350 megawatts NNPC Abuja Independent Power Projects plant. The group managing director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Mele Kyari, explains that the corporation will work with U.S. firms, General Electric and Conitum Associates, to implement the project. And that's a wrap on the program. Thank you for watching. I'm Chimizie Obi Iwago.